Join me as today we finish off issue number 12 of Eagle Moss Hero Collector's 1/8 scale Ecto-1. Hey everybody, Jason here of GhostbustersNews.com, and as always, Ghostbusters News right here on YouTube. And like I just said, today we're going to be doing it again. We're back, we're building more of this beautiful Ecto-1 from Eagle Moss Hero Collector as we finish off issue number 12 here today. And if you'd like to sign up for your very own membership, I mean, there's a high chance if you're watching this video, you've watched the past videos, therefore you're following along with me, and it's a crime if you're just following along. You need to build as well. You need to build your very own Ecto-1. And if you'd like to do so, we've got links right down below in the description. Click them, sign up today, and start your very own build from Eagle Moss Hero Collector. And if you don't mind, I'm going to continue my build, so let's go ahead and turn the camera around. Let's head to the build table, and let's, well, start building today. Alright guys, welcome back to the build table here today, and once again, we're going to be finishing off issue number 12 of Eagle Moss Hero Collector's 1/8 scale Ecto-1. And if you've missed our past couple of videos, we've been starting work on the dashboard, so I think today that's what we're going to continue working on. And yeah, once again, today's build is going to be, I believe it is steps, 41 and 42. So our first bit of stuff here today is we're going to be doing up the radio receiver. So let me go ahead and bring in all the small little individual pieces. We got all the screws there, and I believe today's step is actually going to be a little bit longer, a little bigger than our past two videos because they've been a bit shorter as of late. But yeah, our first step here is going to be installing the radio receiver. So let me go ahead and grab some of these pieces here. So it looks like, I think this right here, yeah, that looks like the radio receiver. Let's go ahead and grab some of the little details. And I went to actually grab this piece, guys, but no, this radio receiver, their details are much, much tinier, much smaller. So let's go ahead. Looks like actually these just snap right into place. Okay, so we got the radio receiver there looking good. From there, our next step is actually going to be affixing it to the top of the dashboard. And it looks like, yeah, there's a small little peg it goes into, and then we got two holes that we're going to be securing this in place using, what do we got, 2 JP screws. Okay, there we go. So the radio receiver is now in place, and man, that does look really, really good. From there, our next step is going to be moving on to number 2 here, fitting the instrument panel. So let's go ahead and grab those pieces. What do we got here? Oh, and I love, love, love the level of detail in there. All the printing and everything looks so good. So yeah, we just match this up here, and then it looks like we're just going to be putting it in place using 2 AP screws. And yeah, we got here, go from the other side. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, once again, just run 2 AP screws through there, and everything will be good to go. All right, so a couple more turns there, and oh wow, that really, really, really helps this dashboard just pop. That looks so good. So from there, it looks like our next step here is going to be fitting the radio. So it looks like, what do we need to grab here? This piece and this little piece right here. How do we get this in here? Now it looks like this just lays right over top. And there we go. And yeah, there's 2 screws in the back of here that we're going to secure everything using 2 EP screws. Okay, and with that, we've got the radio in place, and then from there, we're moving on over to step number 4, mounting the dashboard trim, which is pretty much going to be mounting the radio in place. So it looks like this just lines up right there. Oh, that looks so good. So we got that in place there, and we're going to be attaching those pieces together via the other side using 2 IP screws. Okay, so we got both IP screws in there, and man, once again, that looks so, so good there. I know I mentioned it in previous videos, but these little details, they're really starting to bring out the character of the Ecto-1 that I love, that you love. Okay, so now that we're done there, it's time to start fitting the wires. So in a previous build video, let me just grab it here. We got these sets of wires here, and yeah, it looks like they're finally going to come of use here in well, in today's stages. Okay, so it looks like for our first step here, we're going to have to be putting the main, what do we got here? The main light switch cover into the round slot right down here. So let's go ahead and put that through there, and then from there we got to grab wire 38E, which I should double check exactly which wire is which here, because I don't want to obviously run the wrong wires here. Oh, I actually forgot. All the wires we got in issue number 11, so the previous issue. So 38E is the main light switch, which is a gray wire. Let me just find it here. Yeah, it looks like it's this little guy right here. So let's go back to issue number 12. And now that we've identified which wire we're going to use, we just kind of pop it right into the hole there. And to mount everything in place, we're just going to use one of these clips. There's a little peg it's going to like snap into, and then we're going to secure that peg in place using, what do we got here? One EP screw. Okay, so we got the screw now in place there. So yeah, wire is attached there. If I press it, yeah, I'm certainly pressing a button, so I think everything is where it should be. Moving on here, our next step here is going to be figure C. Now for figure C, it looks like we're going to be doing pretty much the exact same thing we did here. This time we are going to be grabbing the ignition cover, which is this little guy. And yeah, just resting him right in place there. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of pop the screwdriver in there a little bit just to make sure I got a really nice deep fit there with that. So from there, now that that's in place, we're going to be running another one of the electrical cables here, which is going to be 38C. So let me go ahead and grab issue 11 again here and see which cable 38C is. Yeah, so we're going to be grabbing the blue and green cable here, and this is supposed to be for the engine sounds. So let me go ahead and once again put it in place like we just did for this cable. Okay, so I've already ran the EP screw through there, and yeah, it's attached identical to how we did the first one there. And once again, turning them around to the front here, you can hear they function like buttons there. So I'm assuming when the Ecto is fully built there, obviously they're going to do things. I know for sure, once again, the one we just put in was for engine noises. All right, so coming up next for part number 5, it looks like we're going to be attaching, I believe, all the wires, cables, into the dashboard here. So give me a second. I'm going to run them all in there. Actually, before I do want to point out right quick that this cable here comes with like 3 little lights, which you're going to plug in the back of here, which means when the Ecto is actually turned on and, you know, we have it fully built here, this is going to light up. And that is going to be really, really cool. I'm really pumped to kind of see that as we get later on in the build. But like I said, give me a second right now, and we're going to attach all the wires here. Alright there guys, so we have now got all the additional cables plugged in there, or I should say screwed in there. Now turning it around to the front here, you're going to see that this actually fills in some of the buttons like on the radio and such. As well, once again, these are, you can totally hear it there, they are clickable, meaning that once again, when we have this all plugged up, these buttons are actually going to function, they're going to do stuff. So yeah, exciting stuff here. And that actually finishes, yeah, that finishes this stage here. So we're going to move on to stage number 42, the antenna and emergency brake pedal. The Gentech antenna. Gentech? I don't know. Whatever. We're doing an antenna and emergency brake pedal. Alright, so bringing in stage 42 here. Actually, this stage doesn't look too long at all there. Once again, only 2 pages here. So first, we're going to be starting it off by putting together the antenna, well, fitting the antenna as it says. So we're going to begin by inserting the antenna center, which is this little guy in my right hand, into the middle of the antenna body, which is in my left hand here. So looks like that just kind of, yeah, secures into place there. And then we're going to, well, further secure that using one BP screw. Okay, so BP screw is now in there. From there, we have to grab the antenna base, which is this little guy. And yeah, we're going to be attaching, obviously, the actual antenna to the base using one GP screw this time. Okay, so antenna is now finished there. Our next step is just going to be attaching it to the dashboard. There's a few little holes right here. We're going to line it up and then secure that in place using 4 GP screws. Alright, so now I've got all 4 screws attached in the antenna there, and as I've said before, little details like this really go a long way in, once again, just kind of giving the Ecto-1 its character. So now that we're finished with that, our next step is going to be assembling the switch panel, which, let me just see what I've got here. So the switches are on here, and all I got to do is kind of break them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 switches in total, and then, yeah, we're just going to attach them across here on the switch panel. Oh, and there's actually writing here on the switch panel telling you what each switch actually does. Once again, so cool. Now let's go ahead and start carefully breaking off these little switches so we can attach them to the switch panel. And I think for this one we are going to bust out the old tweezers, because this is a tiny little job. So give me a second and I will get all 8 switches inside of here. Okay, so we got the 8th switch in there, and that does look really good. The switches themselves, they don't need like any glue or anything like that, no screws. Just put a little bit of pressure using some tweezers and they push right in there and they hold, at least from what it looks like, securely. So from there, it looks like we're now going to be attaching the switch panel to the dashboard. So let me just kind of angle this properly here. It looks like it's just going to go, we got that right down here. Yeah, so there's a little groove that just kind of rests in there, so that's now in place, and then we're going to secure that using two good old BP screws. Okay, so we got the switch panel now in place there. On the lower dashboard panel there. Man, that does look really, really good. And now moving on to step number 3 here, it looks like we're going to be affixing a bunch of the additional like dials and such. So the first one here is going to be the fuel gauge, which we have right here. And we're going to be affixing that to the underside of the Ecto-1. Actually, it looks like it's going to attach right next to the switch panel there. So let me go ahead and connect that together. I'm going to need 2 EP screws. The second EP screw is now in place, so fuel gauge is now secure there. From there, we're going to be now securing the indicator, the battery indicator, I should say, which is this little guy right here. And that is going to go in behind the switch panel we already put in there earlier. Looks like that's just going to rest right in there. And after that, we're just going to secure it in place using 1 EP screw. Okay, so we got that one in there now. And man, I got to tell you, I did not realize that there was this many gauges and indicators and all that on the Ecto-1. By the time I'm finished with this thing, I'm really going to know the Ecto pretty much as good as the back of my hand there. So we are good, yeah, with figure B. Moving on to figure C. What do we got here? Figure C, figure C, figure C. Fit the emergency brake, which is this guy, I do believe. Yeah, fit the emergency brake to the panel using 1 EP screw. So this is pretty self-explanatory here. We just kind of run that right in. The holes are going to align, and once again, grab 1 EP screw and secure it into place. EP screw is now in place there, and yeah, it doesn't really move or anything like that, but emergency brake is in place and on the Ecto-1. So after that, our next step is going to be step 4 here, where we're going to be pretty much attaching the top and the bottom of the dashboard together. And we're going to be doing that by using 3 LP screws through the back here. So let me go ahead and align everything, making sure to keep the wires and everything here free. There we go. So that is in place. Well, it's going to fall over the way I'm going to lay it there. But yeah, let me go ahead and grab these LP screws. I'm going to run 3 into here, and we're going to take a gander at this dashboard when it's complete. Third screw is now in, and look at that. Look how awesome that dashboard looks. We got all the gauges on there, we got the indicators, we got the radio in place there, all the push buttons. We even have that working glove box, which I love so much there. And that looks like that actually brings us to the end of stage number 42. That is it for issue number 12, guys. So be sure to join us next time for issue number 13 as we continue our build of Eaglemoss Hero Collector's 1/8 scale Ecto-1. So that does it for today's video. Issue number 12 is in the bag. Now, as I said at the top of the video, if you'd like to sign up for your very own Ecto-1 membership from Eaglemoss Hero Collector and build the very same Ecto-1 that I've been building in all these videos, you can certainly do so with the links right down below in the description. Click them, sign up today, and start your very own build of Eaglemoss Hero Collector's 1/8 scale Ecto-1. As always, be sure to subscribe to Ghostbusters News here on YouTube, bust that bell notification icon to stay up to date with everything that's happening within the Ghostbusters world. If you'd like to help out Ghostbusters News, well, we do have a Patreon page. Link to that can also be found right down below in the description. And I will see everybody right back here next time, Ghostbusters News here on YouTube.